Hi guys, and welcome back to the Christian Struggle with me, your girl Amalia Stowe. So I cut my hair. Last time that you guys saw me, I had cut my hair, but I had it back, so you guys didn't really see it. But now you can see my haircut. So I didn't post a video last week because I went out of town for work, and I'm back. I got back last night, which was Saturday. Today's Sunday, and I thought I knew what I wanted to, when I got back, what I wanted my video to be about. It was going to be about impatience, how I was struggling with impatience this week. But when I went today to church, we had a guest speaker, and he blew the house down. And he was talking about how he was struggling with faith. And I was like, oh my God, I've been struggling with faith this week. And with impatience comes faith. You're impatient because you're not getting what you want. And you're impatient because you don't have the faith that you will get what you want, or that you're going to get what you deserve. So it all boils down to your faith. So I realized that, and then I realized that I have been struggling with faith for almost a year. So I was going to make a video about this. I haven't had time, or I haven't found a way to, or segment it into the channel yet, but I was going to put it in the channel. And some of you that know me personally know that for 2019 I decided to give God a year's fast. So I decided to do a fast for the whole 2019, and I've been fasting alcohol. I haven't been drinking all of 2019, and the reason why I decided to do that, I wanted to do something physical, something tangible, and I wanted to do it for a whole year as a sacrifice to God, to let him know that he is my God and he is very important to me. I ended up 2018 really roughly. I was struggling with my faith. Like I said, I've been struggling with my faith for almost a year. And so I was like, I want to dedicate 2019 to you, God. And I want to do something physical that you're seeing, that I can see, that other people can see, something tangible. And I know fasting and offering in that manner is Old Testament, and we no longer have to do that because we have Jesus Christ. But sometimes we still follow things of the Old Testament. You know, we still follow the 10 Commandments, thou shalt not steal, kill, commit adultery, you know, and that's Old Testament, but we still follow it in the New Testament as well. So just because offerings are no longer needed does not mean that you still can't give something to God and he won't receive it, because he gives us so much. I wanted to give him something back. And like I said, I knew that I was struggling so much with my faith towards the end of last year, and so far I've been struggling a lot with it this year too. I'm in Bible group, and we do weekly prayers and requests, weekly praises and prayers. And one of my main prayers, I'm always like, pray for me. I don't feel as connected to God as I normally do. And I know you guys watch my videos, and I hear from God all the time, but even then I haven't been, me personally, as connected as I normally am. Like I feel like I'm filled with him and righteousness, and I just haven't felt that way in, like I said, almost a year. Like I'll have little bouts, but not like I know I want to feel him, or like I should, or like I have felt him in the past. So again, that's something that I've been struggling with. And what's crazy about this trip for work, I went and I was like, oh, it's gonna be a fun trip. I'm gonna hang out with my friends, I'm gonna eat some food, I'm gonna sightsee, I'm gonna go hiking. And that trip was all of that, but it also turned into like this trip like full of revelation. And what's crazy is at the beginning and middle of my trip, I was like, you know what? I was like, my whole outlook towards certain things had changed. And I was like, you know what? Like I said, I've been struggling with faith. And one of the things that I've been with this towards last year and this year is very resentful with God. And it's funny how this trip brought everything full circle. And so I've been wanting to tell you guys the story, and I kind of touched on it briefly, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna make a video. I'm still gonna make a video because I think it's really important. So I had met this guy late last summer in Texas, where I actually went to go visit on my trip last week. And when I met this guy, and the way we met, it was like so organic, and he's a believer, and just like so many things about him, like, you know, most of us, we have a checklist, like I want this, and this dude, I mean, had almost everything on my checklist. And like I said, it was just so organic how we met and stuff, and I was like, oh my god, I really did think God sent him, right? And I'm nuts, so it sent me into a whirlwind of like psychopath. Like, I really thought he was God sent, and that was my person. And with just a couple months, it revealed he was not the person. And I wasn't upset that he wasn't the person. I was upset with what he represented. And for me, I felt like I was never gonna get a person. I don't need my person. I don't need my person right now. I go back and forth. Sometimes, like, I want companionship, and then I'm like, I like coming home and being alone. I really do. I like that I don't have to come home and cook for nobody. I like that I don't have to discuss my finances with someone. I like that I can decorate my house however I want, and I don't have to discuss it with anybody, and I could have pink stuff and just be girly and just live my life. And I'm glad that I was able to take my trip, and I don't have to, I left when I wanted to, I got back when I wanted to. It's not like, oh, get back honey, all this stuff. So there's so many aspects of I don't want a relationship, and then there's days and moments where I'm like, it would be nice to have something to share this with, somebody to share this with. So when I had met him, and I was like, wow, like, this is really nice, blah 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 blah, and he turned out not to be the one, and it was really hard on me, and it was devastating. And like I said, it was more of what he represented. And I just feel like the closer I get to my purpose, the farther I'm getting from everything else. And that is not a bad thing, but it's also not a great thing. I think for the world, for my worldly mindset, it's a bad thing. For my Christian mindset, it's a great thing. You know, the more God is separating you, the more he's preparing you for something that he has. You know, the less you are with the world, the more you are with God, you know. But the worldly part of you is like, oh, well, I want a man, I want to travel, I want to do this, I want to drink, I want to do other things, you know. And you compare. You're like, oh, this person's living their life, you know. I'm not saying that I'm not living my life, because I do. I love my life, I really do. So I don't want to, I hope that I'm not putting out the wrong message. But you know, just being abstinent, and just different things that I feel like God is calling me to do. And I'm like, oh, all these other chicks, they're not, and they're still saved, and they're still gonna go to heaven. Like, you know what, maybe, so this part of this trip, I was like, you know what, maybe I don't need to be this chick. Like, maybe I don't need to be celibate or abstinent or whatever. Maybe I don't need to fast my 2019, you know. And then I'm like, no, Molly, you made that commitment. So even if you feel like it's not doing anything, you made a commitment, you put your word out there, you're keeping your word. But no, sometimes, like I said, I don't want to do it anymore. But then I remember, like, no, God, I'm doing this for you. Even if God, me not drinking doesn't mean that much to God, the fact that I gave up something for him, I know that means something to him, if that makes any sense. But anyway, so that happened on my trip, right? So I saw this individual again this trip, and because he lives right next door to my friend, so every time I visit my friend, I'm gonna see him because he's right next door. And we hung out, and y'all know I'm hot, honest, open, and transparent, and not the proudest of myself, but I was like, you know what, I like him, I'm attracted to him, I'm young, it's been a long time since I've had sex. And originally, like I said, God called me to wait for marriage, and I was like, but I'm never gonna get married, so might as well, you know. And so anyway, I try to sleep with this dude, and which is crazy because that's why we didn't work out, because I'm waiting for marriage, and he's not, but also he's freshly, I mean, he's a few years out of a divorce, so, but he was married for a really long time, so he's not ready, or he doesn't want marriage at all right now, if possibly ever. I know when I got divorced, I was like, I'm never getting married again. And people usually are one or the other. Some people love marriage, and when they get out of it, they're like looking for the next person to marry. And then you have people like us that we, out of our marriage, we're like, never again, you know. And it took me about 6-7 years before I was like open to the possibility of marriage again. And so I get where he's at. So it was just like, we're in two different places in our lives, so it's not gonna work. And so yeah, I saw him and I was like, okay, he looked fine, and you know, so yeah, I tried to sleep with him. So I tried to have sex with him because I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna live my life. I'm gonna enjoy my life. I'm young, you know, I'm not a virgin. Let's do this. And but he knows, like I said, he knows about my walk, and that's why we didn't work out. And he wouldn't sleep with me. He said, no, Amalia, you need to stay on your course. And which made me just crush on him that much more. Ugh, right? But like, that was him, but also like, wow, God just interfered, you know, like intervened is what I meant to say. Like, that is just how God just, like, no matter what, he shows up and he shows out. And it's crazy because it was disappointing, yet it was bittersweet of, like, you know, we single women, you hear it all the time, there's no good men out here. Like, men just want to use us, men just want to get laid, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, it was bittersweet because God was like, here's this great man, you know, but you can't have him. So it's like, it's bittersweet, right? But, and that's what I mean, and you know, just me being me, at first I'm like, yeah, God, well, thanks, great, he's even more awesome now, but I still can't have him, so great. Like, it doesn't do me anything. But when I thought about it more, it's like, but they're there, and when it's your time, you're gonna get somebody great. Like, there's still good men out here, and I just showed you one. And just because he's not for you, or he's not for you right now, or, you know, when it's your time, there will be somebody, and he'll be just as good or even better than this person that you think is so awesome, you know. And they are out there, and I'm showing you that they're there, but you need to stay in the course. And so it's just crazy how, you know, and then so on my flight back, and just like, just everything, I was just thinking about it, and I was just like, oh my God, like, I really need to rededicate my life to God. And I really like, and I was thinking how crazy how it was him and that guy, and the fact that he wasn't for me made me resentful towards God, and made me kind of back away from God a bit, right? And fast forward 10 months later, it was because of that guy that I'm like, God is so here, and he has a purpose for me, and I can't give up on myself because God's not giving up on me, and I need to go full force and bring my faith. Like, that was God, if nothing else, you know. So I was like, I really need to come back and rededicate myself and go harder. And then today in church, when we had this guest speaker, and I mean, like, he was awesome, and he, like I said, he was talking about the prodigal son, and just coming back to God, and just like, you know, and struggling with faith, and that we need to have faith, and that how much he speaks all over the world. And it was crazy because he was saying how he feels like he's out here preaching, and he's older, he's getting older, and he wants a mate, but he doesn't believe that it's going to happen for him, that he's ever going to find a woman and have kids, even though that's something that he wants. And he was getting very upset with God as well, and very resentful, and how he was like, you know what, I preach and I preach about faith, and I wasn't having faith myself. And I was like, yo, you know, I talk to people all the time, and I'm like, I talk to you guys, and I was just like, wow, like, like, you know, Lauryn Hill, like, you're telling my story. And I was like, yo, that's me, like, my faith. And, you know, part of me was like, I'm never gonna have a person. And it's not that I want that right now. I just felt like I was never gonna get it, you know, or possibly get somebody crappy. But I should know better than that. God's not gonna send me somebody crappy. But yeah, so that was my weekly / yearly struggle, and I really do feel like this whole new energy and whole new thing for God. However, I do foresee still a lot of sacrifice. When I think of ministry, all I can think is sacrifice, and I know I need to shift that a little bit, and that's just the realist in me. But just because I see sacrifice, I just want you guys to know that I also see the greatness, you know, of it. Because I tend to be a pessimistic a bit, I think of all the bad things that come with ministry, but I know that so many more awesome things come from it too. Like I said, I just tend to focus on the negatives. So there was this passage that I read and I had highlighted, and then they talked about in church today. But when I came home and read it again, another one that I had highlighted like months ago, or maybe a year ago, I don't know, was there, and I felt like God was like, no, this one. And I started to read it, and like, it was exactly good for this video. So I'm gonna read it. So it's James 1:14. And it reads, "But each one is tempted when, by his own evil desire, he is dragged away and enticed. Then after desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin, and sin, when it's full grown, gives birth to death." So I thought it was very important and like pertain to this video of mine, because I gave into my worldly desires, and it strayed me so far from God. You know, it almost, you know, when it says that sin brings death, it's talking about sin brings death of like your soul, because when you are away from God and you prefer to be with the devil and you're sinning, if you die, you're going to go to hell, you know, if you're not saved. So with me sinning, it strayed me so far from God, and it did it for almost a year. Not a whole year, because God brought me all the way back. And I'm so grateful for that. But it's just crazy how far you can get when you let sin in, because it is like they say it's like a whirlpool that just kind of keeps dragging you down. So I'm just grateful for this man that reminded me. I'm grateful for this man that reminded me to stay the course. And I'm grateful for God. And I'm grateful for revelation, and I'm grateful for his word, and I'm grateful for the speaker today and other speakers, because, you know, they just bring messages home. And so I want to thank you guys for watching and listening, and I hope this video helps you. I hope you like it. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I hope it's not too long. I know it's a lot, and but it's just something that God was like, you really need to put this out there, because I did, you know, sometimes I feel like they're too personal, and I'm like, I don't want to, but God was like, you need to. And so I hope you like, share, and subscribe, and I hope you have a blessed day. Thank you for watching. Bye.